Hey there everybody, long time no see. I'm Cutsy and welcome to my channel. If you could please hit that like and subscribe button, I would greatly appreciate it. So let's get down to business. It's been a while, I've had a lot of stuff going on. I'm sorry I haven't been around, but let me give you a little update. First, it has been a while and I'm sorry about that. I've had a lot going on with family stuff and end of the school year stuff, and we've got about another month for that. And I'm also had to put the website on hold because everything is expensive. So what I decided to do is do some more in-person sales, and I'm working on a few markets that I'm going to be going to and taking my nails there. So hopefully I'll be able to get some videos recorded of me getting ready. Some of my wares, my hand-painted nails and some of the nail art and things like that, and packaging, getting ready for the sale to show you. And also got quite a few cases that I'm kind of following right now as I work and get stuff done. And one of the cases that I'm following right now that I'm catching up on is the case of two missing young kids out of LansDown, Nova Scotia in Canada. Their names are Lilly and JackSullivan. Lilly is age 6 and Jack is age 4. They live way out in this real rural area. There's no phone reception out there. This house is just, it's piled with garbage and whatever up front, and there's a brother that lives in an RV that doesn't have a roof. It has a tarp in it on the property, and I believe his mother lives in that same RV with him. There is a fenced-in backyard around the back of the property, but there is a little space in the back where someone could get out. Now the story is that the kids were last seen Thursday, May 1st, around 8 a.m., according to the parents. But the 911 call wasn't made until almost 10 a.m. Now, the guy that I'm referring to as the stepdad, he's not actually, the mom and dad are not married. She made it clear in the news interview that he was her partner, is what she referred to him, but everybody seems to kind of be referring to him as stepdad, and that was the role that he was living inside that home. So, now they also have it's either 16-month or 18-month-old. There's a few details that are still real sketchy that have been reported as both, and so it's really hard to kind of know the difference between the two, but around that age area, Mom said that she woke up, heard them playing, that she was kind of in and out of sleep. The dad has said that Lily kind of kept coming into the room to the 6-year-old and going back out there, being a little bit loud. They were trying to get them to kind of calm down so they didn't wake up the baby and they could sleep. Apparently there was a party at the house the night before. And all of a sudden, around, according to I believe it was mom or dad, that around 9:40 is when she realized that they didn't hear the kids anymore, and so they got up and they couldn't find them, they didn't see them, and she stated again to news that her motherly instinct told her she needed to call 911 because something was very wrong, that they were missing, that something had happened, that someone had taken them. Now here's where my mommy spidey senses kind of go off a little bit. So Mom tells a story about them playing, and then all of a sudden they don't hear them. Well, she said they were outside playing. And then she kind of corrected herself as what we found out later, that they had been outside playing. And she said that They aren't the type of kids to go out on their own. That they know that they're supposed to have a grown-up with them when they go outside. But that they went through this slider door, and she said that they wouldn't have heard the slider door open because it's a very quiet slider door. And again, you know, I've seen pictures of this house. It's not new. It's not... The slider door looks like a piece of junk that they showed from the drone photos. I mean, I'm not an expert, but this, and the video that was shown and all the pictures that are shown of this little girl, she's tiny. She's little. And he's little too. He's 4. He's tiny. And especially if they're on the spectrum, a lot of times kids on the spectrum at that age are a little bit tinier, and they don't have a lot of upper body strength. That's something that funny enough is sometimes common in young kids on the spectrum. She made it a point of saying that they were both very verbal, that they were on the spectrum, they were autistic, but they were both very verbal. They would speak to anyone in stores. They would talk to somebody. They'd get in the car with somebody. They were just very friendly, loving kids. And they're adorable. They're absolutely adorable. You know, and it's got a place in my heart because, you know, if you know me, you know that I have a child on the spectrum. And I also have a child about the same age as this little boy. And so that really gets me. Now, there was some boot prints found right outside the edge of the property, and those were found to lead nowhere. Now, something that, if you're interested in following this case, that I do implore you to listen to, and I will put the link in the description of her video, is this Plunder True. I believe it's Plunder True Crime. She has all of the audio broadcasts of the radio traffic of the search when they were searching for these kids the Friday and the Saturday, May the 2nd and May the 3rd, I believe. And she's gone through and edited out all the insignificant stuff, you know, like, you know, just stuff that pertains to the search that she's put in there. And she's, I listened to that the other night, and it was really sad. I know one of the excerpts that I heard was, well, there's a few. One was they were using like FLIR, like infrared technology, to search through these very, very dense woods. This house is out in the middle of nowhere. I think the nearest neighbor is like, what'd they say, 500 yards away, I believe. And the woods around them are just really thick, really hard to navigate terrain. And now one thing, now again, this is Canada, so stuff's a lot different there as far as the laws and the way law enforcement handles stuff. They've got the Royal Mounted Police out there, and the Dudley Do-Rights. But also, this land also it's indigenous land, and that the house is on. And so, I don't believe it's not part of a reservation, but it is it is on indigenous land. And so I don't know if that also changes the way that they do things, if it's still like a sovereign nation situation, or if that's only on the reservation. So if anyone listening to this would know that, please in the comments let me know. I'll be trying to do some research myself too, to find out if that makes a difference or not. If it's just the territory, or if it's actually still falls under the same guidelines. But again, Canada is so different than the United States. But they haven't put out an Amber Alert. And Mom said that, law enforcement doesn't think that they've been abducted, but that it's still a possibility, it still could happen. And it was almost, I don't know, almost like if she was a bit excited, like not excited, but maybe hopeful for that to happen. I don't know. There's something that's just hitting me wrong about this one. And the last thing in the world I would ever want to do is, hurt somebody that's already going through a horrific situation like this. Like, I can't imagine. I would be hysterical if not just even one of my children, but both of my children were just gone within minutes of me being feet away from them in my home. And the thought that I could have done something to stop it because I was right there. Like, I just can't imagine that. And because I would be literally hysterical. But she's very cool as a cucumber. She really knows what she wants to tell the press. Her statement was that she was sad because they weren't in their beds that night, and that she didn't want to go through another night of not having them in their beds. And I don't know, I just found that kind of odd. Also, stepdad and his sister, the aunt, both stated that these kids are nonverbal. So there's another little glitch in the matrix of the details in this case. Like I said, there's a camper on one side of the property that the brother and the mother live in. Now this neighbor, the nearest neighbor is about 500 yards away, or 500 meters away, I think they said, because it's Canada. This neighbor stated that he didn't even know that any kids had lived there. That he thought it was a rug house. The cars were always coming and going in and out of there. And he said he remembers on either Wednesday or Thursday that the driveway was packed with cars spilling out into the roadway. Now, this road that they live on is like a logging road. So that's the biggest part of the traffic goes through there, are like logging trucks and things like that. This is not something that, if you're going down there, you mean to be going down that road. It's not, there's no other reason. Now, the last day the kids were seen at school was April 29th. That was Tuesday. And there was no school Wednesday. And then Thursday and Friday, they kept both the kids home from school because Lilly had a cough, which I found kind of odd, because I know, having two kids, if one of them's sick and the other one's absolutely fine, that one's going to school, so I only have one to have to try and deal with. But again, it said there was a party at the house the night before, so I'm wondering if it was just easier to not have to get up and to just, keep both kids home and say forget about it. And mom and dad were kind of just out of it, hungover in the bedroom. Then Friday, kids are missing. Now, another odd thing is there was a video posted of a family birthday party on the mom's Facebook page, and in it, Lilly was in a chair screaming her head off while the family was singing happy birthday to, I'm not sure whose birthday it was, but a lot of people are freaking out over it. Now, again, being a mom with a kid on the spectrum, I didn't see a big deal in that video. I saw a little girl who was overwhelmed by all the stimulus that was going on around her, of all those people singing. It was probably already kind of revved up day for her because they were in this huge group setting. And that's the way that at 6 years old, she counteracted all of that noise and that stress, kind of, in her brain processing it, like almost attacking her. And so what I noticed is nobody was reacting to her. So this was something that they probably knew and probably understood. That's how our family is. They always understood when things like that happened with us, because they knew that was his only coping mechanism at the time. And, you know, the good news is he's grown out of all of that. But when they're little, that's what they do a lot of times. So anyway, the next thing we notice is that Mom's Facebook gets deleted. And again, you know, there's still questions about that morning. Dad swears he saw Lilly poking her head in and out of their bedroom while they were attending to the 16-month-old trying to get the kid back to sleep. Mom said they were sleeping. So last seen or maybe last heard at 8 a.m. Again, it gets quiet. They can't find them. They call 911 at 10 a.m. Dad says it took them about 20 minutes to realize they were missing from the last time they heard them to when they called 911, so around 9:40. Now, Mom says that they were going out, that they had been playing outside, and then all of a sudden they were quiet. Then she says again, well, what we realized later on, they were playing outside. I don't understand that either. How do you not know the difference of your children playing inside versus outside? But, you know, okay. Again, there's just some odd things about all of this. So I'm hearing all this about this slider door and that it's supposed to be hard to hear. Okay, well, so my assumption, silly me, was that the reason why when she said, you know, well, we realized later on that they had been playing outside after we went and looked for them. My assumption was that the slider door was left open, so that's how they knew that that's how they got out. But no, the slider door was closed. So these little children, also, both of their rain boots were gone, and both of their backpacks were gone. Or the little girl's backpack. Dad says that she had her rain boots on, and she had her strawberry backpack on, and that brother had his dinosaur boots on, I believe it was. Mom doesn't remember what they were wearing. Okay, and that's another thing. Dad keeps mentioning, I can't believe that they haven't found the backpack. It's probably muddy and brown by now because it's been out in the elements. I can't believe they haven't found Jack's pull-up. He would have taken it off when it got soaked. So just odd things like that. And now where we're at is that law enforcement has now scaled back the search efforts because they've said that the likelihood that the kids are still alive is very low. They're calling it suspicious, but have not elaborated on why they think that. The dad swears that, you know, he's been consistent. He's telling the truth. He doesn't have anything to do with this. He'll take a lie detector test. He'll do anything he has to. Now, since all of this happened, there was a huge fight among the family members on the property where the kids went missing. And the mother of the stepdad ended up kicking everybody off. The mother of the two missing children now has gone to stay with her mother in the next Providence over, and has broken up with stepdad. They're donezo. And now, apparently today or yesterday, she reopened her Facebook and made sure that she changed her relationship status to single. Because in the middle of your children being missing, you want to make sure that everyone knows that you're single, right? Right. Back to some of the statements that someone's made. There has been someone that has come out on Reddit, I believe it was, and anonymously posted, so who knows? I mean, this could be the stepdad saying it himself, but has said that she is friends with both stepdad and stepmom, or stepdad and mom, and that she is the aggressor in the relationship, and that they've had issues for years. She's seen it happen. She's seen her get angry with him, with the kids, get physical, yada yada. and that he is just, sweet as pie, that he would never lay a finger on anybody, and she just knows that he would never do anything. So, okay. Another thing people are noticing in some of the news reports with the stepdad, is that he has a mark on his upper cheekbone under his eye, and they're wondering, what's that from? It's a pretty fresh scratch. Now this brother that's living on the property, he's got quite an extensive record of kind of a violent record. Another thing, there was a well-known predator that was released and lives about 10 minutes away. So that's something else that I think they're looking into and, checking the yeses or nos. Now there was a report of a man driving around that area, and I guess they checked him out. He was clean, no problem, no connection, so he's checked off the list. But they're going to be going back in and narrowing their search area and going over areas that they already went over to make sure that there's absolutely nothing that they missed. Now back to what I was talking about with Plunder True Crime, a couple little clips out of her audio. One of them was, you could hear the officer searching, and they were using FLIR, like infrared, to find the heat sources. And one of the things that they found was, they thought they saw two little figures next to, I believe it was like a river or a creek or body of water, or on a trail, and they went and found them. And what they were is they were two like garden goose figurines that had been painted black, and it absorbed the sun and the heat, and were showing up on the FLIR camera. There was another hit that they had found that showed heat signatures. When they got to it, it was nothing. They found some smaller boot prints along a gas pipeline, it sounded like, but they led to nothing. It's just so sad. You can really tell these searchers really, really are working hard to find these kids and see, what happened to them. But one thing I will say is, during the press conference, they really didn't say anything. They really held it pretty close to the vest of what, and there's so many theories right now that could happen that people are talking about. Did something happen? Was there a meltdown and somebody couldn't hack it and did something out of anger? There was a party there the night before. Now that's another thing. It's stated that there was drugs found on the property and in a vehicle. Now, what is it? Is it Mary Jane? I mean, I don't know what's legal or what's not legal there. Or was it something much harder? Could the kids have gotten into something and something happened and they had to do something about it? That happened here with a case. This little boy, he was 2 years old, and his dad was all whacked out. He got into his dad's stuff and he overdosed, and instead of calling 911, his dad put him in a ditch. I mean, people are sick and they do this stuff. They get on this crap and they just do the worst possible things. I don't know. Did somebody at the party do something? Were the parents completely out of it and somebody that night took those kids? Maybe they never hurt them. Maybe they just thought they did. I mean, I don't know. It's so sad. I'm going to try and keep up on this and keep you guys up to date, and that's all I've got for now. But keep an eye and ear out. If you've got anything to add to this, or if I didn't get anything right, please let me know. All right, you guys have a good one. Kiss, kiss. Cutsy out.